She just lost her biggest rival, and it might be the worst thing that could happen to her. The player who ended Alex Eala's Wimbledon dream just pulled out of her next tournament. On paper, that sounds like a gift. But what if the exact opposite is true? What if the easiest-looking draw of Alex Eala's career is actually the most dangerous trap she has ever walked into? Stay with me, because by the end of this video you'll understand why some of the smartest people in tennis think an easier tournament can be more damaging to a young star than facing a legend on center court. And you'll see exactly what Alex Eala has to prove in Washington, D.C. Not to the crowd, not to the cameras, but to herself. Welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. And if you've watched our other breakdowns of Alex Eala's rise, welcome back. Seriously, thank you for coming back for more. Before we go any further, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. This story is going to keep evolving over the next few weeks as Eala moves through the North American hardcourt swing, and you do not want to miss what happens next. Now let's get into it. The withdrawals nobody saw coming. The 2026 Wimbledon City DC Open, the WTA 500 tournament that kicks off the North American hardcourt swing, was supposed to be stacked. Instead, in the days before the main draw, the field lost several major names. Jasmine Paolini, one of the very best players in the world this season, withdrew because of a foot injury that has bothered her for months. Marta Kostyuk pulled out. Victoria Mboko pulled out. Karolina Muchova pulled out. For significant players, gone before a single ball was struck in Washington. Here's the detail that makes the story impossible to ignore. Jasmine Paolini is not just any name on that list. She is the player who beat Alex Eala in the 4th round of Wimbledon just weeks ago, ending one of the most emotional runs of Eala's career in a tight 3-set battle. The rival who stopped Eala's historic Wimbledon charge will not be in Washington to test her again. At first glance, that reads like relief. A dangerous opponent gone. A path that looks a little more open. But hold that thought, because the story is about to get more complicated. Why easier can be the most dangerous word in sports. Here's what a lot of casual fans miss. When a big name withdraws from a tournament, the danger doesn't disappear. It changes shape. The draw for the DC Open still features Jessica Pegula, the top seed and a former champion of this exact event. It features Alina Svitolina, one of the most relentless competitors on tour. It features Naomi Osaka, a 4-time Grand Slam champion who can end points in a blink. It features Madison Keys, Anna Kalinskaya, Diana Schneider, defending champion Leylah Fernandez, and wildcard entrant Zhang Qinwen. This is still a loaded field. And then there's the part nobody talks about enough. Every spot that opens up in a draw gets filled by someone else. A lower-ranked player, a qualifier, someone with far less to lose and a career-best result sitting right there for the taking. When a seed disappears, the replacement often plays with zero fear, because nobody expected anything from her in the first place. That is its own kind of danger, and it's one that doesn't show up on paper. So before we get excited about a weaker draw for Alex Eala, we have to ask the harder question. Does an open draw actually help a 21-year-old who has spent her entire breakout run as the underdog? From Manila's streets to Wimbledon's 4th round. To understand why this moment matters so much, you need to understand where Alex Eala came from. Eala trained at the Rafael Nadal Academy in Spain, one of the most demanding development pipelines in the sport. She broke through in a way almost nobody saw coming. In the 2025 Miami Open, as a teenage wildcard ranked outside the top 100, she beat Grand Slam champions in 3 straight rounds, including a stunning win over Iga Swiatek. She stood on court afterward in tears, saying she was in disbelief, barely able to find the words. That wasn't a fluke. This year at Wimbledon, Eala did something no Filipino tennis player had ever done in the Open era. She fought her way to the 4th round, beating former Wimbledon champion Elena Rybakina, world number 8 Alina Svitolina, and then, in one of the most stunning upsets of the entire tournament, defending champion Iga Swiatek, winning a brutal first-set tiebreak before closing it out 7-6, 6-2 on center court. Her run ended in the 4th round against Jasmine Paolini, in a match that swung back and forth before finishing 4-6, 6-4, 3-6. Afterward, Eala didn't sound like someone mourning a loss. She talked about so many positives. A player already looking forward, not back. She came home to the Philippines to a hero's welcome. A nation that has waited generations for a tennis star finally had one. And Alex Eala was living every bit of that moment. Then the celebration ended, and Washington arrived fast. The real test nobody is talking about. Here is the uncomfortable truth buried inside this story. Alex Eala has already proven she can beat legends when nobody expects her to. What she has not yet proven, what almost no young player has proven at this stage, is that she can handle a tournament where people expect her to win. Facing a 6-time Grand Slam champion on center court, there is no pressure to carry. The crowd is rooting for the upset. Every big swing feels brave. Every long rally feels like a bonus. Nobody blames you for losing to one of the greatest players alive. Take that opponent away and something shifts. Suddenly the matches you're supposed to win start to matter more than the ones you're not. Suddenly a first-round loss to an unseeded player doesn't look like bad luck. It looks like a missed opportunity. In a tournament where the door was standing wide open. This is the trap. Not because Alex Eala isn't good enough. She clearly is. But because managing expectation is an entirely different skill from producing an upset. And it's a skill that separates a great story from a great career. What's actually on the line in Washington? Let's talk about why this specific week matters so much. The Wimbledon City DC Open is a WTA 500 event, running from July 27th to August 2nd at the William H.G. Fitzgerald Tennis Center in Washington, D.C. The draw itself was set on Friday, July 24th. The champion this year takes home 500 ranking points and a check for $252,000. Even reaching the first round pays out over $17,000, and every round after that jumps significantly, all the way up to $155,000 just for reaching the final. For a player sitting around world number 32, coming off a career high of number 29 earlier this year, a strong week in Washington isn't just a nice result. It can reset her seeding heading into the biggest stretch of the season. Toronto's National Bank Open, the Cincinnati Open, and then the US Open, the tournament where, last year, Eala made her own piece of history by winning her first ever Grand Slam main draw match. Washington is not an isolated event. It's the opening chapter of the most important 6 weeks on Alex Eala's calendar. The physical cost nobody sees on TV. There's a second challenge here that has nothing to do with tactics, and everything to do with the human body. In the span of a few weeks, Eala has played a grueling grass court season, gone through the emotional and physical grind of a deep Wimbledon run, flown home for a national celebration in the Philippines, and then turned around and flown back across the world to switch surfaces entirely, from grass to hard courts, in the middle of a Washington, D.C. summer. That kind of schedule doesn't announce itself in a practice session. It shows up late in a third set, when the legs are a fraction slower and the first serve loses a little bit of bite. Heat adds another layer on top of that. Concentration slips before exhaustion is even visible. On top of her singles commitments, Eala is also entered in doubles alongside Venus Williams, as a wild-card pairing that has generated real excitement heading into the tournament. Sharing the court with one of the most accomplished players in tennis history is an incredible experience. And it also means more matches, more hours, more recovery to manage during a week where every bit of energy counts. The scouting report has changed. There's a third layer to this story, and it's a quiet one. Alex Eala is no longer a mystery. A year ago, opponents walked onto the court against her without much film to study. Now, every coach on tour has hours of footage. They know her lefty angles. They know how she takes the ball early to steal time from her opponent. They know which patterns make her uncomfortable under pressure, and which side she tends to protect when she's pulled wide. That's what happens after a breakthrough. The tour adjusts to you, and then you have to adjust again. Beating a legend once is proof of talent. Doing it again after everyone has studied the tape is proof of growth. That is the exact question Washington is built to answer. So what actually happens now? Here's where we land. The withdrawals in Washington didn't hand Alex Eala anything. They didn't make this tournament easy. What they did is change the question being asked of her. Before Wimbledon, the question was simple. Can Alex Eala compete with the very best players in the world? She answered that emphatically with wins over Rybakina, Svitolina, and Swiatek, and history that no Filipino player had ever made before her. Now, in Washington, the question is different, and in some ways it's harder. Can she walk through a door that looks open without getting distracted by everything waiting on the other side of it? Can she beat players she's expected to beat on a day when nobody in the stadium is rooting for the underdog because for once, she isn't one? That's not a question about talent anymore. Eala already has the tools, the early contact, the deceptive lefty angles, the ability to turn a neutral rally into an attack in a single shot. The question now is about composure, about repeatability, about whether a legendary Wimbledon run can turn into the foundation of a real career instead of a single unforgettable memory. We're about to find out. If Alex Eala goes deep in Washington, it won't be because 5 familiar names disappeared from a bracket. It will be because she solved every single player who was still standing across the net. And if she stumbles early, it won't be the end of anything. It'll simply show us exactly what still needs to be built before Toronto, before Cincinnati, before the US Open comes around again. Either way, this is one of the most revealing tests of Alex Eala's young career, and it's happening right now on the hard courts of Washington, D.C. If you want to see how it unfolds, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on, because we will be covering every step of this North American swing as it happens. Drop a comment below and tell us. Do you think the open draw helps Alex Eala? Or do you think it's the more dangerous path? We'll see you in the next one.